Hey, good evening, everybody. This tonight's show is not going to be a happy one because we're going to be talking about what everybody knows about this mass shooting in Uvalde, Texas, and we're going to try to talk about why it happened, how it happened. We're going to talk about how to prevent it. I've been hearing TV shows all day long. I've watched the newspaper. There's so much to talk about, and first of all, they compare this to the other one in oh my god, um, Storm. Uh, there was another mass shooting. Okay, and in both cases, the perpetrators were teenagers, were 18-year-olds, and the one in Wisconsin, I think it was, that one was 17 years old. The guy Crumbly. Um, why are these 18-year-olds, 17, 18-year-olds doing things like this? And the only way I could describe it is that they were bullied. They don't have a good family life. They had a couple screws loose, and something ticked them off. That's the hard thing to figure out. And all these pundits are talking about, well, this and that, the Second Amendment. You can't take the guns away from people because there's too many people with guns. And he had these guns legally, okay? But people get killed with cars legally too. People get killed in a lot of different ways. And what we have to do is not stop guns altogether. It's stop the way they're using the guns. For example, everybody in Congress, the celebrities, politicians, they all have bodyguards. They have people watching them. You have security at concerts, and security all over. Why don't they have security in the schools? And one of the uh, things that they said might be working is to put retired officers, trained retired officers, in the schools. And also, they're talking about putting perimeters around them. I mean, I don't know, it's getting a little crazy. Look at the Capitol. You have a fence around the Supreme Court. You had the fence around the Capitol from January 6th and on, and January 6th on. Um, we live in a crazy world, and New York, and the United States is, I think, the craziest. Um, why are people doing that? It's hard to explain. Um, I worked for many years. I worked for the State Board of Medicine. And I work on psychologists and psychiatrists and other and MDs. And every once in a while, we had cases where the person was mentally unstable. I'll use that word. And we tried to commit them, and it was so difficult. It was so difficult. We had to prove that they were in danger to themselves or danger to the public. So how do you tell a guy, 18-year-old kid, who buys a gun, who has a gun legally in whatever state that is, and how do you know if he's crazy or not? How do you know if he's, you know, after all these shootings, they always go to the people's Facebook, they go to their Instagram, and they go to all their social media, and they find out, oh my God, this guy posted serious stuff on there, racist stuff, and he was a supremacist, and he hates people, he's going to kill people. But you can't see that before they commit the crime. That's the problem. 2020 hindsight's wonderful. So where's the answer to that? I hope one of the viewers can chime in and say, hey, have some comments on that. How do you figure out that someone's crazy? Because they look crazy, they act crazy, or, you know, some people act strange, but they're not crazy. So how do you determine it? It's very hard, very, very hard. Now, when he bought the gun, he was vetted. They did a fingerprint search, whatever they had to do, a background search. In most states, you have like a 2 or 3 day cooling off period or whatever. But is that good enough? Is that good enough? Now, I wish I had an answer for that. I think I'm pretty smart, but I'm not that smart. Nobody has an answer. Hey, Michael Spain, how are you? If you got anything to add, Michael, please. You're law enforcement. You have anything to add? Um, we have to do something. I mean, obviously, why do they? It's funny. It's kind of an oxymoron that they attack schools when most schools are a quote a gun-free zone, end of quote. So even the nut job knows that he can get, or she, it could be a she too, can get uh, his assignment. I'm going to use the word assignment completed in a school. And when I say assignment, not like a homework assignment. This is his own agenda. So why do they pick schools? Now, I read that the school had an award ceremony a few days ago. Now, it's possible that he was a local, that maybe he had a jealousy because we don't know enough about him to make this distinction, but maybe he was jealous that these people got an award. He never got an award. Maybe he's jealous that when he was in school, he wasn't a good student. Maybe when he was in school, they bullied him. Who knows? Maybe we don't know. A lot of these people that commit these crimes are usually loners. They fit a certain mold. But can you stop someone because they fit that mold? That's the problem. We have rights, inalienable rights. You can't just tell somebody, "Hey, you know what? I don't like the way you look. I want to have you committed." You can't do that. They have to do something overtly, and that's the problem. They're talking about putting security. All right, Michael. South Carolina, you clear FBI check same day you walk out with the gun. Okay, that's South Carolina. And other state, Mike Barrascano. Hi, Mike. Yeah, is it not enough, Michael? Is that not enough that you? It's not. I don't know. But look at all the people that they've done these searches on, background searches, and they've been okay. You're going to get a few loose cannons. You're going to get a few people that no matter what you do, they're going to get through. So how do you prevent this? Security at the schools. It seems that the schools, it's I don't know why. I don't know why they pick schools. Maybe because the children are unarmed. In many schools, they don't have armed security. And I understand in a couple of states, they arm the teachers. The teachers get gun lessons. They are licensed to carry guns, and they're trained. And maybe that's another way of going. But then you have teachers that they're very liberal and they say, I don't want to carry a gun, I want to have a gun. So there's no happy medium. I don't know if there's anybody could make up a happy medium. I don't know. But we have to do something. We have to do something. The other one that the guy, the other school shooting, again, the people that do these things have a mold. You always find out afterwards that they put their social media. They said a lot of crazy things. They did a lot of things. So if you're a parent and your son or daughter acts inappropriately, what do you do? Do you call the police on your own kid? In this case, the grandmother actually called the police on the son, and then he killed her. So she knew something was up with him, but it was too late. Now think of all the parents, all the grief that's going on. I can't imagine what's because these are little kids, these are children. We spend all the money to help other countries. Why don't we use the money to help our own in-house security? I would start with our school security. Yes, Michael, that's what everybody's saying. But we could send $40 million to Ukraine, but we can't spend that money in our own country. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I'm not going to blame our government, but they want to defund the police. The Democrats want to defund the police. Some states have, like Seattle, They defunded the police. The police chief, I was at a dinner a couple of weeks ago at the National Police Defense Foundation, and the woman of the year was the police chief that quit when they took away some of her staff, when they took away uh, many of the officers, they defunded her department. She said, you know what? I don't need this. Now she's very popular. She's writing books. She's a consultant, et cetera, et cetera. She's making more money doing this. So they did her a favor in a way. But what they didn't do is the people in Seattle have a major problem. They recently tried to hire more police officers. So they refunded the police department. But the morale is not there. You have a certain group of people that will always criticize the police. They will always claim that they're racist, that they're too heavy-handed. And the president just said something about they want to have I love this one. They want to have a national registry of bad cops. Maybe I didn't say it correctly. National registry of police officers that have disciplinary problems. Okay. Now, where do we draw the line? What's a disciplinary? I mean, you get a police officer that's insubordinate. He gets into a beef with his sergeant or his lieutenant. He says, hey, you know what? I don't like this. He gets written up. Is that going to disqualify him? That's going to put him on this list of bad cops? Come on, this is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Also, President Biden says he wants all military hardware that they give to the police department taken away. I don't understand that. That's the same thing as defunded. Sometimes the police officers need some of the military equipment because some of the bad guys have better weapons than the cops. So what? I don't understand this. Can anybody, Michael or one of the other, I got a lot of mics here, can add something to this? I don't understand. This is ridiculous. Ridiculous. They don't want to help themselves. Now, I hate to bring up politics because the other show we did was always politics. I got some criticism, but I don't care. You want to defund the police. Look at all the cities that have defunded the police or have hampered the police. Some of these cities, police officers don't want to do their job, and you can't blame them. It's ridiculous. They have a manhunt for people on January 6th, okay? But meanwhile, where's the manhunt for those people that burned down Seattle for 150 days, destroyed billions of dollars worth of property, threw rockets and incendiary devices at police officers? But nobody did anything about that, okay? Because it didn't fit their narrative, okay? The riots that they had because of that junkie that got killed, Floyd. Now, the cop that killed him, he got convicted, justice prevailed, okay? I'm pro-police, but when a policeman does something kind of bad, he should be disciplined because, just like I work with, I discipline doctors, physicians, and that's not easy. When you have a physician that killed somebody or grossly negligent, it's not easy to prove. You got to really work at it, and but you don't want them harming anybody. That's the whole thing. You don't want to be harmed. They don't want to harm anybody, and now they want the police officers to be differently trained. Why don't they train these young kids that don't have any respect for law or order? Why don't they train them? You got these kids, the parents never trained them properly, and they go out and commit crimes. And then we have bail reform. We could talk we could talk for hours on bail reform. It's not working. It's not working. Yes, poor people get arrested. They can't afford the bail, blah, 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 blah. But they got arrested because they committed a crime. Now, you are innocent before proven guilty. Okay, we agree that. But there's a reason for bail. There's a reason to keep somebody. Some of these crimes are serious, and they let them out, and then they do it again. So the proof is in the multiple arrests of these people that are on bail reform, and the judges. And it's not the judges' fault because the law, the New York State law, the assembly is majority is Democrats. Okay, so they like this bail reform because they feel that it's good for the minorities. Okay, but who are getting killed? It's the Hey, Phil, who are getting killed? Ellen, how are you tonight? The people that are getting killed are the people that they're trying to protect. So it's kind of an oxymoron. You're trying to protect people from the legal system, and they're being killed by the legal system. So how do you justify that? And they keep talking about the elections that the Republicans are going to take the House and they're going to take the Senate. But you know what? They can't take the states. The states that and the cities that are Democratic are all crime ridden. That's proof enough that this bail reform doesn't work. So does anyone come up with a solution? Does anyone ever come up with a solution how to how to fix this? It's all politics, okay? And I don't have an answer for this. The answer is be a little more strict with law and order, and maybe we could knock this crime rate down. Now we have a mayor in New York City who I happen to like, but I don't think he's doing a good job, and I'll tell you why. He's been a mayor for almost 6 months now. Okay, crime rate has gone up. Not that you would think that he comes in, he energizes the police department. And let's go get. Not working. Okay, it's not working. You still got this bail reform. These cops are arresting people, and they're out the next day. Okay, they're out right away, committing the same crimes. The guy that shot somebody and killed somebody in the subway station, how many arrests did he have? He was out on, he violated one of his probation. It's just ridiculous. And when you talk to the judge about it, he says, I have, my hands are tied. The lawmakers have made this, and they pack the court. Yeah, they want to pack the court. If they pack, hey, Chris, love you too. Get a district attorney who wants to prosecute. Yeah, that's the problem. Now, George Soros, who to me is the worst villain in history, in my opinion, a political history, and maybe others, he has put millions of dollars into these leftist, woke prosecutors. Look at San Francisco. San Francisco, you can go in there and rob a store. They let you go because if it's under $1,000, it's not even. They didn't want to charge you with. So guess what? Many of the stores in San Francisco have closed. They can't afford to stay open. And you have here's the one that's really bad. You have these riots or people robbing the stores, and a lot of them are pharmacies. So what happens is the pharmacy says, you know what, we can't exist in this environment, and they move. They close down. What are the people that need medication? They have to go 10, 15, 20 blocks out of their way to get their medication. This happened in Baltimore when they had the Freddie Gray riots. So whole sections of Baltimore were burned down, were destroyed. Many pharmacies, drugstores just moved. They moved. So who's hurt by this? It's the people that live there. Look at Chicago. People in Chicago, they live in fear. These gangs are shooting at each other. First of all, they don't know how to shoot, so they spray. They just shoot. They have automatic pistols. They have 9mm, semi-automatic. You keep pulling that trigger, and that's what they do. And what happens is a stray bullet hits a little kid, hits an elderly woman, hits a man that has nothing to do with the beef, and you got so much of that going on. It's just. When are they going to learn? When are they going to learn? You have mayors in Chicago who's horrible. She's horrible. She's incompetent. She looks like she's from one of those horror movies. You got the mayor in L.A. L.A. is horrible. San Francisco's horrible. Seattle's horrible. And what is the common thread between all these cities? Democrat run. And these are cities that George Soros put money into the prosecutors. They don't want the prosecutors to prosecute. It's very simple. They don't want them. Now you get a guy. The other day I was reading about a guy had a problem with a police officer, shot him in the leg. They let him out the same day. I don't know what technical. I forgot. I didn't want to look at the whole story. All I know is they let this guy. He shot a cop and they let him out. Now I remember when I was living in the Bronx, you got caught with a gun, you got 5 years in jail. So you try not to carry a gun unless you really have to, unless it's legal. So how do these people they get? And some of them get caught with a gun, they're out with no bail, and then they get caught again. Look at the guy who shot the guy from in the subway. I think the guy's name is Enriquez. Nice guy, salt of the earth, good man, family man. For no reason, he got shot. Where did the guy get the gun? Somebody found the gun, gave it to him. One homeless guy sold it for 10. I don't know. It's a weird story. And it just went from one hand to another, and the guy shot somebody. Now, this guy obviously has some mental problems. But why is he still on the street? Why? This is a guy that should be locked up in a mental institution. Why? What? I mean, it's so obvious that this guy had mental problems for years. They let him out on the street to commit more crimes. Now, you got carjackings. You got carjackings all over the place. They even carjacked a member of Congress not too long ago. I read a story in Florida. Four young teenagers kidnapped a guy on vacation. He was a federal officer on vacation, and luckily for him, he had the OnStar on his car. His wife called and got him out. He didn't kill him. They beat him up. They didn't kill him. They caught the 4 kids. They fought the. What's going to happen now in Florida? They will be prosecuted. They will be prosecuted. They'll probably get some serious shit. Because first of all, if you carjack somebody, there's a federal law about that, and you actually kidnap. These kids could be charged with a capital offense. They can get 20 years to life. But sometimes because they're young, they say, well, it's a juvenile, this, that, and the other, and they give them a break. I don't know. Now, like listen, when I was a kid, I got in trouble a few times, and because I was a juvenile, I got a break, but it was minor stuff. So you gotta weigh everything. Anthony, we got time to do a commercial. How about we get some of our sponsors? Let them get their money's worth here. Who are we going to start? Okay, Medicare, Medicaid. This guy, Mark Turner, is a genius with Medicare. He knows all the ins and outs. He's at 718-873-1292. He's in Staten Island, but he works all over the New York. And the guy's on. Now, Patsy's Pizzeria. It's really a restaurant, not a pizzeria, but the pizza is great there. They're in 2164 Utopia Parkway, Whitestone, New York. 718-224-0200. The food there is unbelievable for a pizzeria. They have a shrimp fra diavolo over linguine that's orgasmic. They have something nobody else had. They have Philly cheesesteak egg roll. It's actually a Philly cheesesteak in an egg roll. It's an appetizer, but you could eat 2 of them as a whole meal. Okay. All right. Now I'm getting hungry talking about them, but we have other sponsors later on. We'll get hungry again later. Okay. One of the things I wanted to bring out is in every one of these terrible situations, the only positive thing is that heroes are made. Heroes are born and they come out when they need it. One of the teachers there risked her life to shield some of the kids. A beautiful young woman cut down in the prime of her life. The other one was ironically, it was a border patrol agent, which happened to be nearby. When he heard the commotion, he went in there and he actually shot the perpetrator. He actually saved probably a lot of lives. Okay, so you do have people that will come in and do the job. They did have a security guard at the school. I don't know the whole story, but I was told that he didn't do his job. Well, maybe he wasn't armed. I don't know. I don't want to say anything bad about this man, but He was there. I don't. And he was ineffective, and I'm sure he has to pay for that in one way or the other. Maybe he can't sleep at night thinking about all these kids that got killed, and maybe he could have did a better job. I don't know. I really don't know. I can't judge a man who I wasn't there to see what he did. Uh, I know that in the Columbine school shooting, some of the police officers that responded didn't even go into school. They were so scared. And it's even a police officer gets scared too. You can't you just can't be a hero all the 24 hours a day. There are times when you're scared, and you just say, "Wow," But you got to do your job. If you put on a badge and you keep a gun, you have to do your job. You can't be. I mean, you can be scared, but still do your job. Okay. And I'm sure people, when you're a soldier and you're in battle, you're scared, but you got to do your job. So, uh, how do we stop this? How do we prevent this? Well, one of the things I think is important is anti-bullying. What I've seen in the past is that after all the smoke is cleared, they find out that the shooter was bullied. He was a very weak individual, a nerd, or whatever you want to call it, and he reached. That's how they reached out with violence. And some of them want to go in the glory. Some of them, what I don't like, and what I hate to say, yeah, Joseph Giacomo, how are you? The D Giacomo. Some of these people want to commit suicide. Now, we do have a very high suicide rate in this country. And unfortunately, some people want to commit suicide, what they call a suicide by cop. They commit a crime knowing that the police will respond eventually, and they get killed. They don't have the balls to shoot themselves, so they do something that will provoke a police officer to shoot them. And they call it suicide by cop. And I think in some of these cases, it's apropos. I really do. I really think so. And it's a shame. It really is a shame. And I was watching the parents in the school, and I just my heart broke my heart to watch this, especially when you know that your kid is in school and there's a shooting, and you don't know if your kid was safe or not. That must be the worst feeling in the world. Eventually, after the dust cleared, the police came out and told the parents, the status, and who knows, it's terrible. I, you know, I, I don't know. Just I'm getting a little excited about. I'm getting a little upset about this. Um, we have a pervasive feeling in this country of violence. And they want to take guns away. We can't take guns. There's 70 million men or women that legally have guns in this country. Okay, and the amount of people that commit these crimes is a very small amount. But it's even as small as they are, it's very significant. And we got to do. I mean, I don't know what to do. I'm not in a position to do anything about it. I can only talk about it and hope that we can have some sort of dialogue and the right people hear you hear about gun Second Amendment, gun control. You know what? Someone wants to kill, they're going to kill. The only thing that a gun does is mass killing. Okay, France on the Bastille Day a few years ago, a jihadist or a Muslim terrorist took a big dump truck, a huge truck, and ran over and killed 87 people with a truck. Or people make bombs. You can make. It's very easy to make bombs. You go on the internet, and they even tell you how to make bombs. I mean, it's ridiculous. Okay, so someone wants to blow somebody up, they can kill a bunch of people there too. I don't know what to say. You got to try to prevent these things from happening. The only thing you could do with bombs is if they're buying a certain chemicals like potassium and certain sulfur which can be used in bombs. You can monitor it that way, but it's not easy because some people have access to this in their regular jobs, regular business, and it's unfortunate. So, anybody has any other suggestions? I know I've had a couple of comments before, and I'm running out of stuff to talk about. And yet, I could talk for hours about a lot of stuff. Um, I just think, and they're blaming it on the pandemic. They're saying that people were inside. They were, I don't know. If you can blame everything on the pandemic. The government's blaming the inflation on the pandemic. It's blaming the inflation on Putin. They're blaming the high price of gas on Putin, even though they went up before the war. Danielle, hello, Danielle. Even we have a government that blames everybody for all the ill. Again, I don't want to become political, but I think that all these negative things in the government have something to do with people committing crimes. And what I mean by that is that they're just depressed. Hi, Danny. They're depressed and they take it out in different ways. You have a rash of subway slashings, pushing or into a train, assaults. Unbelievable. Why? Now these are what they claim they're homeless people, or they're people that most of the homeless people, in my opinion, and I think anybody, I beg to differ with anybody, they have mental problems. They obviously do. And how do we stop it? I mean, I was downtown the other day. I came out of the train and this big fella. I mean, you could see his hair was, he looked horrible. Screaming, and everybody just looked at him like, all right, as long as he doesn't touch me, I'm not going to do anything. This is a guy that should be put in a mental institution and given therapy, drugs, whatever you got to do, keep him off the street. And there's so many like that. Now, we had a mayor, last mayor we had, de Blasio. His wife took $1 billion for a program called Thrive, which was supposed to help these homeless people. Didn't do anything. Where did the money go? Where did that money go? And by the way, de Blasio wants to run for Congress. Hey, Alan, how are you? You're looking good too, baby. What happened to that money? Where did it go? How come no one is looking into it? How come no one is going? Now, the FBI, the feds have a public integrity unit. And Dawn Thomasina, wow, more than 1 million, my friend. Yes. Why doesn't anybody investigate this? Where did this money go? I bet it went to a lot of her friends. What she probably did is put all her friends on the payroll. Oh, I mean, she already had a lot of people on her payroll as the first lady. But can you imagine if she has an agency called Thrive? What happened? Michael? Hey, Manny, what's this? You're pecking it in, law and disorder. We'll talk about that later. Okay, what are these people doing? I don't understand. What is law enforcement? Now, first of all, the DA we have in New York is incompetent. Now, he's a former federal prosecutor, went to the best schools, best colleges, best law school. He was a very good prosecutor, but George Soros put him in power, and George Soros is the puppet master. He knows how to tell these people not to do their job. And the problem that I think we have is that Republicans don't run against Democrats in these cities for district attorney. I didn't hear anybody running against Bragg for the district attorney job. Gascon in L.A. I don't think anybody, because in these cities that are Democratic, a Republican's not going to win anyway. So why waste the time and the money? BLM buying $1 million home. Yeah. So you got BLM buying $1 million home. Mayor de Blasio had the most consultants on payroll. Any other mayor? That's true, Dawn. You are right. And I guess he didn't listen to the consultants because he didn't do. He was horrible. He actually told his son, who has police bodyguards, as an executive of the city, he has bodyguards. Okay, NYPD. Tell them that don't trust them. How can you tell that in the public? So when the police officer was killed, one of the police officers was killed. If he was a Chinese fellow, the cops turned their back on the mayor during the. I mean, that is the biggest insult, and that's what they did. He got his kickbacks from the company. Oh yeah, he got kickbacks from the companies. Yeah. Oh yeah, he got. Now, funny thing is, he tried to run for president. He spent $230,000 of New York City's money for security in one of the primaries, or one of the primary, and he got, I think, less than half of 1%. His ego is bigger than his 6'5" frame. He's a big bird. They call him Big Bird. He thought he was going to run for president. No way. He's delusional. He can't even run a city. You think he's going to run for president? And now he's going to run for Congress. And I want to see, he's going to be running against another Democrat for the primary. Okay. I want to see how stupid the people are in his congressional district to elect him. Okay. I want to see that. And, I heard a statement once that it takes a village of idiots to elect a village idiot, and that's what we have here. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same result. And that's what we're getting in New York City. His main goal when he got into office was to get progressive elected, and he did just that in 2020. Most moderate Dems lost in 2020. You're right, Dawn. You're 100% right. And now I think the people realize that these progressives are retrogressive. They're not progressive, they're retrogressive, because their narrative is Eddie Gazet, hello, you did a great job of Law and Order, exposing the evil, the bad guy. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's frustrating to talk about these people. I mean, so what you have, like, all right, let's talk. Forget about New York City. Let's talk about Chicago. You got young kids getting killed because stray bullets are going into their apartment building and killing it in a crib. A little 1-year-old a couple of years ago got killed in a crib. An elderly black woman was struck down because these guys had shoot at each other. Now, what is the root cause of this gang warfare? Drugs. They're making money. These guys don't want to go to work. Their job is to make money selling drugs, okay? Don't put it past these Democrat voters. They go from frying pan into the fire. So true. But you know what? They go into the fire and they get burned, okay? Because it's only hurting themselves. And I just can't imagine how people can keep. Mayor Lightfoot does nothing. Yes, Mayor Lightfoot does nothing. I'll tell you what a racist she is. Drug gangs and borders are wide open. Yes, Dawn, you're 100% right. Now, also, you gotta address this open border. There's so much drug, fentanyl coming into this country. More people died of fentanyl overdose last year than the COVID-19 virus. Okay, so we've spent all billions of dollars to fight the virus. We simulate stimulus money, all this stuff. Why don't they spend that money in stopping the drug traffic? Too many people are making money, okay? That's the bottom line. Too many people are making money. Some of these, I don't want to say, some elected officials look the other way. Some get paid. You got some dirty cops, too. You got dirty cops, drugs. I was working a case in the 60 precinct in Brooklyn, and I was talking to one of the detectives, the sergeant, and we were doing a case together. And he told me, he says, I was in narcotics, and his father was a cop too. His father said, when you're in narcotics, don't stay there more than 5 years. officers. For some reason, after 5 years, you get tainted. And I've known a lot of police officers and detectives who have been tempted when they see that money. When you go and make an arrest and there's hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table, you wonder, well, maybe I could take 100,000, 200,000. No one's going to know. But you know what? You don't know if your partner's going to rat you out. You don't know if there's a camera in there. You don't know, and if you're an honest guy, you're going to say, you know what? I don't want to take the chance. But it's a temptation. It's a bad temptation. And unfortunately, some people succumb to it. Look at Michael Dowd, the cop, the Dirty 30, all that stuff. I mean, and plus you got to remember, a lot of police officers in the beginning, they don't make a lot of money. Matter of fact, New York City police officers, their starting salary was at the poverty level. Okay, yeah, poverty level. So they have to either work a lot of overtime if there is any, do a side job, usually security or something, which is not bad. I mean, they're allowed to do that. Some do private investigation, which they're not supposed to do. It's a conflict of interest. But they got to make money. But when someone gives you a couple $100,000 and you say nobody's looking, it's hard not to. We had a big scandal in the 70s with the SNAP commission. You had the cops in the SIU. They were they really were phenomenal detectives. They were the best detectives New York City had. But some of them, what happens is one guy gets dirty. He says, look what I made. I made $50,000. His friend said, well, maybe I can make some money too. And then next thing you know, they're all corrupted. And some of them went to jail. Some of them committed suicide. It was a terrible, terrible thing. Anthony, let's do one more commercial, and then okay. Artuso Pastry, 670 East 187 in Little Italy in the Bronx. Phenomenal pastry shop. They actually have their own factory making pastries in the supermarkets all over. They're really very good, clean, nice. I know them. I grew up with those guys. I mean, they're unbelievable. The family had that since 1946. And then you got Borgatti's ravioli and egg noodles. Unbelievable. All the restaurants on Arthur Avenue, Little Italy, use their ravioli and egg noodles. They have the best ravioli. Their raviolis are fresh, or you can get them frozen. They're at 632 East 187th Street, Bronx, New York. They also have a lot of imported Italian olive oil and other Italian goodies, tomatoes, pasta sauce, stuff like that. It's a small store, but they got a lot of stuff. They're really good. Okay, now we got that out of the way. Okay, so again, we're going back to mass killings. What I feel, and I said it before, and I'm going to say it again, is that you have a country that is severely divided, that people are depressed. They're depressed for a lot of reasons. Number one, the economy. Since Biden came in, gas has gone up. He said when he was running for office that he was going to stop fossil fuels. He's catering to the leftists. He's catering to the new Green Deal, which isn't working. First of all, I believe that we should have less emissions, but slowly. Everybody can't afford a Tesla. Everybody can't afford. Now, all the car companies are doing electric cars. Okay, Tesla's number one in that, and because they were the number one, and they're the first. They perfected it. Okay, but people can't afford an electric car. First of all, if you have an electric car and you want to have an electric outlet for your car at home, if you have a house, it's very expensive. You got to get an electrician to come in. They have to set up the 220 wiring. It's tough. It's rough, and not everybody can afford $2,000 or $3,000 for that, or maybe even more. Now you have a range of 300 to 400 miles on most of the cars, so most people drive within that range. But then you got to go to a charging station. I don't know. By the way, I don't know if anybody knows how. Anybody could tell me how much they charge to fill up. I guess you get it. Fill up a Tesla or an electric car. I have no idea what it probably costs more than the gas. So it goes by kilowatts, right? Hey Phil, you're an electrician. Tell me what it is. We got it just it was thrown down it was put down our throats. This leftist agenda, okay. And we had a young woman that was on our show a few times. She has her own podcast called Courtney Turner, and and one of the things she talks about, and I have to agree with, is the Great Reset, where they want to destroy this country and then build it up their way, the socialist way. And I think we have enough patriots in this country and enough people that see between the lines and are trying to stop this from happening. But again, it's at the polls. You got to. Now we also have a problem, and I think people are depressed about the election. A lot of people complained that the election wasn't fair. You had a man that ran for president who stayed most of the time in the basement, made stupid remarks, showed symptoms of dementia, was actually a racist, had made racist remarks during his election. You ain't black if you ain't vote for me. You ain't black and stuff like that. Made fun of Indians working in the 7-Eleven or gas station. Also made fun of a black woman working in the department store or something. I mean, and he really got elected. I don't know. I'm not gonna get into that. We don't have enough time for that. And but it's funny. 80 million people allegedly voted for him, and 75 million voted for Trump, and yet that adds up to 155 million. He had 160 million voted. So there's something wrong there. Yeah, big time. Again, we get into the politics, but politics are making people depressed. When you talk to people nowadays, they talk about the inflation. They talk about the price of food, the price of gas, homes. You buy a home now; it's too expensive. Now, the government said, "Well, people are gouging." I don't know, Mike. I believe down the road we're going to find there's something more sinister about these mass shootings than our government is telling. Underbelly are trying to use the shooting to push gun control. You know what? I have to agree with you on that. I can't see anybody actually having them do this so they can get gun control. 291 per 100 miles. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. $2.91 per 100 miles. So $12 for a full charge for a Tesla. That's not bad. You're not going to get fill up a tank with $12. That's not bad. But the thing is, how are you going to pay? You're going to trade your car in and get $145,000, $159,000 car. I think the cheapest Tesla is about $90,000. Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody. But and then nowadays, who can afford to buy another car? And also, the price of used cars have gone up dramatically because people are buying used cars. Supply and demand. They're buying used cars because they can't afford to buy a brand new one. So it's a trickle down effect is trickling down everybody's back. We have unbelievable depression in this country, mental depression, and I believe that has contributed to some people committing crime. Obviously, the people that have mental difficulties, these people are pushing people off the train stations, attacking people for no reason. They have mental problem and they're depressed to begin with. We need term limits for every instead of running every 2 years for Congress Assembly, and so there should be 4-year term and cap at 3 terms, 12 years. If you can't do that, what you need to do for 12 years to get out? Dawn, you're 100% right. I always wondered why, less time for corruption to set in. Dawn, why do these people in Congress for 40 fucking years? Why are these people in the Senate for 40? Look at Schumer. He never had a real job. He went to law school, came out and right away got elected. Okay. Nancy Pelosi, bada bing. How many years she's been in? There's also Republicans too. But why don't they give new people a job? Congress should not run for that's ridiculous. It's a waste of time and money. They should have 4 years, to a three-term limit area. Same thing with the Senate. If it's 6 years, you should have only 2 terms of 6 years. That's 12 years. Now the president is only allowed 2 terms in a row. So why, if the president can only have a term limit, why can't these other? You know why? I'll tell you why. Because they're the ones that make the law. They're the ones that make the rules. So if you make the rules, you make the rules in your favor. Look at all the money that these Congress and senators made. When they go in, they're usually, I would say, upper middle class. Usually, they're lawyers or they're somewhat a businessman, and they get into politics. Okay, but look at how much money these people do. They suck the tit of government fee. It's a tit, not a tot. A tit the tot, tot the tit. Okay. But they have insider trading. Look at Nancy Pelosi knew that the United States Post Office was going to use electric trucks. She went and bought, I don't know how much, $1 million or more of Tesla stock. Okay. They have inside trading. Anybody else, what's her name? Martha Stewart. She went to jail for what, 6-8 months because she had an inside trading. Somebody gave her a hint about it. Now that's considered inside trading. If I have an idea, if I do the research on a company and I know that something major is going to happen, I could tell all my friends, hey, listen, let's buy stock. This company something's going to happen. It's going to, like for example, Twitter. Some people might say, you know what? It's Elon Musk. It's going to buy into Twitter. Maybe we should buy a stock. It's going to go up. Well, that's another story. We're not going to talk about that tonight. But you got a lot of different things to talk about. But I think you get the gist of what I'm saying tonight. Is people are depressed, and people handle depression some different ways. Some people handle depression by drinking. You have a lot of alcoholics out there. They're depressed. They drink, and they get more depressed. And then you have people that handle depression with drugs, and you see that, and you see all these movie stars, all these people in Hollywood. They all have alcohol and drug problems. Look at Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. All they talk about is the crap that they did to each other, and all about drugs and alcohol. Okay, and you have all these people that we idolize in Hollywood, and they become political, and that's exactly what the government wants. Yes, Dawn, you're 100% right. That's what the government wants. They want us to divide. They want us to keep the media, which is an arm of the Democratic Party. There's no two way. Nobody could argue with that. No one could argue with that. Matter of fact, Nikki Fried is running for governor against DeSantis. She actually said in a tweet, DeSantis has Fox. I have MSNBC, CNN, CNBC, ABC. She has every media outlet, and the New York Times. Those people covered up Hunter Biden's laptop so that Biden can get elected. If the main people, not everybody watches Fox, not everybody watches Newsmax or O1, some of the conservative stations, but everybody puts on Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 7. So that, the mainstream media. So they listen to a different they don't talk. If you notice, the mainstream media does not show pictures of the border, of all the crap that's going on the border. 237,000 people last. Then you have people who turn the depression into violence. That's what we're talking about tonight. Violence, yes. We're in a lot of trouble. Okay, now think about what other people in other countries think about. I'll give you an example. I was in Boston this weekend. I had my nephew, David, graduated from Boston College. We had a nice thing. So we were staying in a hotel for 1 or 2 nights. And we met 2 young women from Austria, 2 lovely young women. We were talking, very bright women. One was a manager, young girl, maybe 24, 25, managing a hotel in Innsbruck. I guess a ski lodge, whatever. And her girlfriend that was with her, family owns a ski equipment or whatever. 2 bright women. Tommy Real, my ninja instructor, and tango. He teaches me tango too. They've been going to all the cities. They had a 2-week vacation. They're driving from Boston to another city to another, all the nice. So I said, "You going to New York?" They were reluctant because of the crime and the violence. Yes, it's hurting us. It's hurting the people. I'm doing a comedy Sunday at the Cutting Room, which is for me is a step up. I've done a lot of comedy. I have as a hobby. I don't make money doing comedy. Maybe now I will, but I don't know. But I have some people that said they won't come in the city. They won't come in because of the violence, because they're afraid. They're really afraid. We have a thing. What are we thankful for at the end of the show? We have about 4 minutes left, and I have to say this is my last podcast. Regretfully, I have so many things going on, and I love doing this, but I have to tell you what I'm doing. All right, I have a YouTube channel, which this is on also, but I have a YouTube channel that it's Law and Disorder. We have to get rid of the name because another company has the same name. They haven't said anything, and I don't think they're active. But we want to. So I've been an investigator. I've taught investigation for years, and I'm going to start teaching it again online. We're going to teach it. We're going to have it as part of a YouTube channel, and then we're going to have Patreons. We want to really learn, and we'll have like specific. We could generalize cases. We'll talk about some of my cases from. We could talk about cases from my one of my books. One of the books I wrote is about child trafficking, and it's something that really bothers me about how these people traffic children. It's a fiction, but based on some real facts, and that's being edited. And then I have a publisher called me the other day while I was in Boston. And they want me to do a book called PI in Prison. And I don't know what inspired that. And we want to do a lot of different things. And it's unfortunate that I just can't do everything. I just don't have time to do everything. And I'll be making a lot of new content. And it's a lot of. I'm also a certified fraud examiner. I have to be recertified every year, and I have to do that. That you do online. If you go to the conventions, very expensive and it's time consuming. So I rather do it. It costs me the same amount of money, but at least I do it. And as you know. So now my partner, who wasn't on tonight, she'll have her own show. It's Anthony. Help me with this. What's the name of her show that she's going to be doing? Pam Roth Live. PRL. Pam Roth Live. And I hope you subscribe to that. And when I have my YouTube channel, I want you to subscribe to that because it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a lot of stuff. I have some private eye classes. PRL, Pam Roth Live. I've done a few episodes already, but I'll be doing more. And I'm really excited about that. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I had a lot of good time, a lot of fun with the guests. And we're going to have some guests on my YouTube channel. And and then we were talking about doing a detective reality, like we had Parko PI. Now on YouTube, I think you're only limited to 20 minutes, which is enough time to do a reality show. So we have a lot of things going on, and send a link or tell us where. I'll be on my Facebook page. I'll be telling you what's going on. And because I have a Facebook page of Detectives Referral, and I have Parko Media. So we have a couple of pages, So I don't use them that often. I'm not electronically. I'm electronically challenged. But But I want to thank everybody, and I want to say that it was a lot of fun doing this, and we'll keep up. And I'll come on once in a while with Pamela. Once in a while, if they need me, I'm there. Okay. Good night, everybody.